Hello everyone, and welcome to the PhD program at the Graduate School of Business. My name is Christopher Richardson. I'm the program manager for the PhD program here at GSB. Let me start first of all by congratulating each and every one of you on your acceptance onto the program, and I think you will really enjoy the journey ahead. It'll be a challenging journey, but one that will benefit you immensely in the years to come. In this introduction to the PhD program, I will give you some information about what to expect in terms of the learning goals, in terms of the structure of the program, and some general information as well. The PhD program contains three basic learning goals. The first of these is to produce scholars with relevant knowledge and skills in conducting scientific business research. The second is to produce scholars who are able to deliver academic courses in institutions of higher learning. And the third is to produce scholars who are highly aware of issues pertaining to business sustainability. With these three learning goals, we expect to be able to produce a very holistic group of students with skills in academic research, teaching, and the ever-important phenomenon of business sustainability. GSB's approach is based primarily on a structured and supervised research process. So you will work very closely with your allocated supervisors for a very long period of time, up to 3 years or more. GSB is also, of course, located in the island of Penang, which means we have strong links with local industry, with business and commerce. You will also benefit from continuous training throughout the program, primarily based on research topics, research methods, research philosophy, things like that. And as I mentioned just now, of course, you'll be working very closely with your supervisor or your co-supervisor if you have one. Each of you will be provided with a study pack which contains a PhD program guidebook as well as a supervisory logbook. This will help you throughout the program and also to capture your meetings with your supervisors and to record these in a structured manner. The focus of PhDs or of GSB as a whole is on the issue of business sustainability. This is a very important area of business research, a growing area of business research, and it ties in closely with the university's ethos of sustainability, transforming higher education for a sustainable tomorrow. Okay? So in GSB, we very much put emphasis on this particular phenomenon within the business domain. And early on in your PhD journey, you will take a course on nurturing business sustainability. This will give you a grounding in this area and inculcate you within the ethos of the Graduate School of Business. GSB has 6 research clusters, and you will be working closely within one of these clusters, but sometimes there are overlaps between 2 or more. The first is sustainability accounting and governance. The second is innovation and operations management. The third is marketing. Then we have global strategy and organizational behavior. We have finance. And finally, we have social innovation and sustainability. So very often students will engage closely with the cluster members in their respective clusters. But of course, we do expect and we do encourage working across those boundaries. In the PhD program, you will encounter 2 research methods courses, AGW 716 and AGW 717. These are compulsory and you need to attain a grade of B in order to pass. The main objective of these 2 research methods courses is to give you a solid grounding in research methods to help you early on understand the methodological, the philosophical, the ontological aspects of academic research. You will also take a course, as I mentioned just now, on nurturing business sustainability. This will allow you to gain an awareness of this important issue, which also, of course, as I said, ties in with the ethos of both the Graduate School of Business and also University of Science Malaysia. You will also be welcome to attend a workshop on teaching. This will help you understand how to conduct teaching in an institution of higher learning. The PhD program contains 4 main checkpoints, although it depends a little bit on the methodological choice of your study. The first of these checkpoints is the conceptual paper presentation, which we call the CP presentation, which usually takes place within 1 year of your registration. In order to participate in this presentation, you must first pass AGW 716 and AGW 717, which I mentioned just now. The second main checkpoint is the proposal defense, which we call the PD for short. This is compulsory for all students undertaking quantitative research methods, although it is also recommended, but not compulsory, for students taking qualitative research. Then you have the findings defense, or the FD, which is compulsory for qualitative students and again recommended for quantitative students. Finally, you have the viva voce, which is an oral defense of your final research project. This takes place right at the end of your PhD journey. In order to graduate from GSB with a PhD, you must publish an academic paper. Okay? At least one full-length article in a journal which is indexed by ISI, Scopus, or ERA, which means the journal is of a certain quality. Or you can have at least 2 full-length articles accepted or published in a number of category-listed journals below, which you will be able to see later on in your program guidebook. In other words, just to keep it short, you must publish before you finish your PhD in order to graduate with a PhD. Generally speaking, the candidature of a PhD for a full-time student is between 2 years and 5 years, or 4 semesters to 10 semesters. And for part-time students, it is between 3 years and 7.5 years. We will try to, as supervisors, to encourage you to make sure you meet those timelines and to graduate on time as much as possible. You should be expected to be based in Penang, at least for 15 days a year if you're a part-time student. But of course, for students doing data collection, we understand that they may not be on campus permanently at that point. You may convert from being a full-time to a part-time student, or from a part-time student to being a full-time student, but only once in your program. And this is based on approval from the Dean of the Graduate School of Business. The viva voce and the dissertation, your PhD thesis will be expected to not exceed 80,000 words, 80,000 words, although exceptions can be made if there are justifications. And these theses can be written in either English or Malay, but it is generally the practice to write it in English. And in the end, you will, of course, as I mentioned just now, sit for a viva voce, an oral defense of your PhD, in front of a panel of examiners as well as other panel members to defend your research and to demonstrate its novelty and contribution to knowledge. In addition to the courses that I mentioned just now, the research methods courses and the teaching courses, all non-Malaysian PhD students must pass the University of Science Malaysia's LKM 100 Bahasa Malaysia course, which is basically an introduction to the Malay language. It's not so difficult, but it is a compulsory component of the PhD program at USM, not just GSB. And finally, at the end, here is a sample of a degree certificate, which we hope all of you will be able to hold in your hands at the end of your PhD journey. So with that, I thank you for listening. And again, I would like to welcome you very warmly to the Graduate School of Business and to the PhD program. Thank you.